Hello, welcome to Sacred Soul Circles for this new moon in Leo. And so it's exactly the time, and I am going to get started and tell you all about. We have some people waiting. Hello. Hello, hello. Hi. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy you're here.
I've been
Hold on.
wanting to join for so many times, and I always was like, oh, I can't fit it, and I was like, yes, I can fit it in.
It's so beautiful to have you. Thank you so much for coming. I'm just figuring out this screen thing. Oh, because I'm on my phone. Give me a second. So anyway, I was just going to introduce the space and we're going to have people coming in, and I just want to it's going to be a 30-minute kind of or less transmission of the energetics and what I feel and what's been coming in, the different themes according to, the planetary movements and just the energetics of this time. And then I'm going to stop the recording, and whoever wants a card pull, whoever is live, I would love to offer you a tarot card pull with my deck here. So, but I'm going to stop the recording just because to also speak to you about like the themes, and sometimes it's personal and vulnerable. So don't worry if so I'm going to ask if anyone is on to please mute your microphones for the time of the transmission, and then when we are talking more and discussing, I'm happy for you to unmute and share and talk and things like that. So give me 1 second to figure out this screen situation if I can. Just and then we're gonna go into, there we go. No, that's not what I want. Hi, Beatrice. I see you here too, my love. It's so early.
Hi, Farah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
late here. It's
Oh, late.
10:30.
It's late.
Yes, that's why I'm normally never there live, but I really felt like joining you tonight. So good to
It's
see you.
so it's so special because you're Leo, so this is
I
amazing.
know. Thanks.
Perfect to have you here. Okay, I'm going to get started because I have things to share. So this new moon is happening in Leo, as we know, and it's actually in 2 degrees of Leo. So the themes of Leo are going to be, I'm going to be sharing with you what Leo rules the fifth house and what that means. But in your personal charts, it's going to fall in 2 degrees of Leo. So you're going to look at your chart, and everyone has 2 degrees of Leo in their chart. Don't worry right now if you don't know how to do that. But so the themes of this new moon, what's really, it's opening the door to the old that's falling away or that has fallen away. I mean, the beginning of this year, it's like the year of the snake. So the beginning of this year to now, you may have noticed so much just flushing out, things coming up, initiations. And I feel like it's just been like one thing after another. Like you're like catching your breath and then you're okay. And then it's like the next thing. I don't know if anyone else has that experience, but for me, it's been like, woof. And so it's like all of the things that have gone or are falling away, but the new hasn't yet landed fully. Like it's coming. We feel it's coming. We know it's coming. We are in such a new time on the planet, in the consciousness. And you can all feel that, I'm sure. Like my community is so sensitive, so spiritual. And we know that the new is coming but hasn't yet landed. But we are already starting to see the changes and see this, at least a silhouette in our personal lives for what we are creating and what we want to plant seeds too. So this new moon is actually very powerful because first of all, it's opening the door to a lion's gate. It's going to be on 8/8, which is really, really powerful portal. And it's a longer term seed planting. It's going to be from this July to next July. It's July 2025 to July 2026. So whatever you're planting now, so it's also in alignment to this very powerful conjunction of Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus. And I'm not an expert to talk about this conjunction. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about how these work, but basically they are powerful outer planets. And when they're outer planets, it actually affects our whole like collective consciousness and how we're moving through as ascension. Basically, it's basically ascension. So so there's a lot of changes, but obviously we can feel it personally because ascension happens through each person, through each of our relationships, through ourselves. So it's a very magical configuration. And what we need to remember is what you're focusing on this July. Focus on what you're creating, what you're visioning, what you want and desire to come in, not what's falling away. Because what you focus on is like the falling away is going to happen regardless. And if you can focus on what's being created, because Leo is also like, it's a fire energy. It's all about creation. Like fire is creation. Fire is passion. Fire is creation. And so it's very, very powerful energy to focus on like, yeah, visioning, creating, especially from our feminine. And I'm going to be talking about that. Hi, Megan. So, okay. So remember to focus on that. So our feminine. So this is another big, big theme that I think we all know that the feminine is rising. And that there's a lot more focus on like how can we move into like creating from the feminine, you know, connecting more with our inner feminine, connecting with our ancestors, connecting with like this way of being that we have been taught to forget over lifetimes, over so much conditioning. And so it is the part of us that we need to be creating from for the future, our magnetism, how we hold our visions, expanding our capacities. And it's not necessarily in the doing, which is the masculine, but unless we receive the inspired steps, because we need both, as we know. We need both, and both rule our world, our life, and we are in duality, and so the masculine and feminine work together there. But the reason, yeah, I was saying, did I cover this? The reason allows, yeah, outer planets, right. Okay, so I'm gonna just touch upon the outer planets for a second. We've had, you know, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus, like I covered. They have now changed signs over the past few months. And them changing from one sign to another, they're usually very, very slow. Like some of them have 20 or 30-year cycles. Some of them have 100-year cycles. You know, like Uranus, for example, it's like a bigger, slower planet, and we only have a couple of Uranus themes in our lifetime. So things like that, like we have big changes that we are now seeing the new flavors, and that's what's creating this effect of like a new earth or a new human with different themes that have come up. And we can say that, I don't know about you, but the last 10 years have been like speeding up so much. that we feel like, well, things are already going like warp speed. How much more can we change? And I don't know. I don't have the answer, but all I know is we are we are in that change, and we are the change. That's what's the most important thing to remember, that these tiny shifts and tuning into the changes that are happening in your life, and these, the beautiful shifts that are happening just in your world, in your families, is what's most important. And because the outside world can be so overwhelming with all the conflicts, the AI, all of the advances and things like that. And sometimes it's just like, I can't keep up. But what you can do is to focus on what you want to create in your life and the kind of life you want to live, which is what Leo energy is perfect for. Because again, Leo is ruling the fifth house. And the fifth house, I have to say, the fifth house is one of my favorite houses in astrology, because it's the house of our greatest joy. It's the house of our dreams coming true. It's the house of our creativity and what our inner child thrives in, and also the house of our children, and the house of our like romantic partnerships. So, and like romance in general. So there's a lot of passion at this time. There's a lot of, it's an invitation with Leo to focus on, like our dreams, and focus on what we want, rather than being pulled in all these different expectations from the outside world. So I wanted to bring that in and talk to you a little bit also about Leo energy in its highest, because we know that the zodiac has been, there's a lot of commercialization. I don't know what to say, but like there's a lot of generalization about, even though a lot of people are now getting into deeper astrology. But for me, Leo in its highest expression is all about courage, loyalty, authentic expression, and really following our bliss, like the fifth house themes that what I'm talking about, and following our bliss in everything, in our soul's work, and not just what I want, but what is the highest and best for me and for everyone, like the immediate people in my life, I would say. Because it's also like what we do obviously affects our immediate family, or the people closest to us. So these creative projects and tapping into your inner child and being romantic, whether it's with yourself or with your love or your significant other, and it also rules leadership. And so this new moon, it's all of these. It's focusing on all of these themes. And there's also a Mercury retrograde right now happening in Leo. And Mercury retrograde is all about the technological malfunction, possible technological malfunctions, the travel snafus, the scheduling, whatever, the miscommunication. It can all happen, but it's also the messenger god. It's Hermes. So it's our mind. And so what happens in Mercury retrograde is, an astrologer that I really, really like, he says that the people who are logical become more intuitive, and the people who are more intuitive become more logical in Mercury retrograde. There's like a shift in the perception. Like we get to explore this opposite way of being in Mercury retrograde. And it also slows us down. That's why there's review, because it slows our cognition, our mind, and the speed of Mercury so much that we can actually process things. So that's why Mercury retrograde is actually a blessing. And so just look for the gifts and look for the themes that are coming up at this time. Like what are you being asked to review at this time? And it is going to be related to, obviously, themes of two different things that I see that's standing out is sovereignty and embodiment. And what's really, really interesting when I tuned into what these themes meant, sovereignty for me comes from the masculine. It's very much, it's royal energy, like royalty, which is also Leo, but it's like reminds me of like sovereign, like kings and queens, like that kind of royal energy. And it comes from sovereignty. We know this word. It comes from within us. It comes from our truth. Being anchored in our truth and being unapologetic. And yeah, just being really real. Like, what is it that we want, and not seeking answers outside of us or decisions or whatever. So that's sovereignty. That's one theme. And the second theme is embodiment. And embodiment is the feminine. Embodiment it is the literal translation of the feminine. The feminine comes from the body. And it's processing things through our body, whether it's emotions or creation, emotions and nervous system work and womb work and our wisdom, our magnetism, our radiance. We need to learn how to open up these channels more. And that's how we become more and more and more embodied in our power, is through these pathways of the feminine. And it's like ancient wisdom that we have. Yeah, like I said, it's not something that we're taught. Like, we are relearning it and we are rediscovering it, and there are teachers everywhere. And I'm thinking of some of you who actually also do this work, and it's so beautiful. And we need this medicine. We need to reclaim it again. And so I've seen for myself themes that have come up in both of these this week. And it's really about being present and feeling into what's coming up in the body, and also processing it through my body. And another big thing, another medicine, is our capacity to receive, which is such a high level priestess feminine skill. We gloss over it, like receiving, because we're receiving all the time. We literally receive everything, right? Like, this is how we exist in our world. We receive food, we receive thoughts, we receive our communication, whatever. It's all receiving, but it's like receiving in a deeper way is, like, it's easier for us to tap into the vision and get the ideas and like receive the vision of how we want it to be and how we want it to look and how we want it to feel. But then, are you able to receive that desire? Yeah, so that's like a deeper, just a really, really potent, magical medicine. And it starts with awareness, obviously. And the awareness is more and more here. about this, because I know, at least for myself, and if you are here, I know that you're doing your individual work on several, if not all of these themes, because it's just like we are a collective consciousness here. And I know that the women in my world, we are all like so connected, and we are all, so I know I'm speaking to basically myself. It's like a mirror here. So yeah, so I know that we're all in this work. So that's why this is like, right now, this is available to us, like deeper awarenesses and levels of understanding of how we can receive more, and yeah, work on these, like open up these channels. And so this is really connected to manifestation, quote unquote manifestation. So I am just going to put it out there that I'm not a fan of this word manifestation because of how it's taught in the mainstream, and how it's really been like, again, one of those things that's been so commercialized, and I've never resonated with manifestation coaches and gurus, and the way people look at manifestation from getting something outside of you. And there is a deeper way to think about manifestation. So I'm actually going to be like sharing a very special transmission on Lionsgate, which is going to be our next Sacred Soul Moon Circle on 8/8. So we're going to be having a special event, which is going to be all about this theme, and how manifestation, how I see it, how it's actually worked for me, and how I can see it actually play out in the quantum field, and how that actually works. So I'm going to be sharing with you and breaking down the mechanics of manifestation. And so I'm really excited for this. And if you join live, I'm excited to see you there. But yeah, that's going to be coming. And what else do I want to say? Oh yes, and I wanted to share that there are a couple of like goddesses that are I want to say blessing this week, or sharing their energy. There's Hygeia, which is the goddess of magical, mystical beginnings. She's like very, like she's not really talked about in, how do you say it, mainstream astrology, but she's very powerful in that she makes us get a clue into the mysticism, what we think is right now mysticism. She kind of like invites us into understanding what that means and kind of normalizing it. So Hygeia is conjunct Venus, so the goddess of beauty, the goddess of money, like all the good things, the romance, the love, like our senses. And so it's all also mixed with magical, mystical new beginnings in Venus. And then there's also Lilith this week. And she is such a powerful goddess to really bring out all the stuff that we've been hiding from ourselves, and the shame that we hold, and the guilt. And it's to transmute it into power. And so there's also, this moon is also aspecting Pluto. And Pluto, well, I actually love Pluto for the fact that Pluto really brings us into the truth of what our soul is here to do, and really helping us step into our power. So there's so much magic in this week. It's just to share with you a couple of things, and there's actually so much more. It's a powerful week. And so just remember the themes that I said: sovereignty, embodiment, and was that it? Sovereignty, embodiment, and just, yeah, receiving. These are the three things I want you to think about. And I'm not going to be going into a meditation visualization today. I asked if there was a transmission coming through, and I'm saving it for Lions Week. So I hope you're there, because it's going to be really powerful and potent. But I want us to do a little activity today. I'm going to invite you into doing this, either if you want to do it now or if you'd like to do it later. That's your invitation. And we're gonna use this on Lionsgate, and you can use it without me or with me. So I'm going to invite you to write a letter to your higher self or your inner child. One and the same. I believe our future self, our higher self, our inner child, they are one and the same. They want the same things. They can, merge the archetypes, whatever you want, whatever calls to you. And I want you to anchor into deep gratitude right now for two things. Number one, what is falling away right now? Like, what has fallen away or what is falling away? And it could be something physical, it could be spiritual, it could be emotional, or it could be all three. It's up to you. And in any area that you are noticing these themes. So what's falling away? The second thing is, I want you to have gratitude and write gratitude for what is that silhouette that you're starting to see emerging in your life right now. What's that thing, that the perfume that you're starting to get that waft of, or the glimmers, and that hasn't come fully into fruition yet. It's going to come fully into fruition 1 year from now, or even sooner, but definitely 1 year, you will see it. You will be living it. It will be your reality. So what is that thing? What is that silhouette that's coming? What's coming for you? And this letter is all about having gratitude for it all, for the journey, and being able to hold the duality of dark and light, of destruction and creation, is also a feminine code, and such a powerful ancient feminine code. And it also allows alchemy to happen. And when we know that when alchemy happens, things turn into gold, and then we can use this gold and this fuel and this fire to fuel into and focus into our vision and create the creation of what's next. That's exciting. And I just wanted to mention something, and you guys probably know this already, but my son asked me today, what is the definition of faith? He wanted to know, what is faith? He's 12. And I told him that, to me, faith is belief, trust, and gratitude for what hasn't yet come to pass, or what I cannot see yet. But I know it's coming, it's happening. And I have belief, and I have trust, and I have so much gratitude for this. So I want you to tap into this frequency of faith and gratitude. Bye, my love. See you later. And so on Lionsgate, if you come back on 8/8, I'm going to ask you to do something with this letter. But in any case, this is a new moon, and where we plant new seeds. So this is a beautiful way to plant your seeds with this letter. And so, yeah, and if you come to the Lionsgate, I have something special for you, so stay tuned. So I'm going to end the transmission section of our call here and those of you live, let's go to the next section. So let me switch off this recording. All right, let's see. Okay.